One of the hardest things at work is staying professional when someone else takes the credit for your hard work right in front of your manager.
Or when your phone keeps ringing at 9 p.m. on a Saturday with work messages and you do not know how to say no without looking like you do not care.
Welcome back to our Business English podcast. Today, we are not just learning regular vocabulary, we are looking at 5 real-life office negotiations that directly protect your time, your hard work, and your career growth.
That is right. If you use basic English like, that is my work, or I am too busy, you might look hard to work with. Today, we will show you the exact professional phrases to stand your ground politely.
We will cover how to get proper recognition for your work, how to decline low-value meetings, how to set weekend hours, how to reply to unfair feedback, and how to ask for other benefits when the company budget is tight.
Each situation has real dialogues and practical phrasing. Let's start with our very first situation. How to take back your credit without starting an office argument.
It happens more often than we think. You spend days working on a project, and suddenly someone else presents it to the manager as if they did it alone.
Yes, and the worst thing you can do here is lose your cool. If you say something like, "That is my work. Thomas did not do anything," you will make the manager feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. You want to show you are professional, but you also need to make sure everyone in the room knows you were the one who did the actual work.
Let's hear how David, the manager, and Anna discuss the new project layout. David is sharing the general slides with the team, but notice how he subtly makes it sound like he did the work, and see how Anna politely corrects this.
So, as you can see on the screen, this new plan will help us get 20% more leads next month. We spent a lot of time finalizing this flow last night to make sure our team has no delays.
Thanks for sharing that overview, David. To build on your points, I would like to share the details behind this design, since I spent the last week setting up the core layout and testing it.
Oh, yes, Anna. You did help with some parts of the setup, right?
Actually, I handled the entire design and completed the run-through with our test group on Wednesday. To clarify who is driving this project, I am managing the execution, while David is helping with the final review. I can share my screen now to show you the actual test results.
That sounds good, Anna. Please, go ahead and show us.
Let's talk about what just happened there. Did you hear how I redirected the attention back to my work without making David look bad in front of the team?
It was very smart, Anna. At first, David used the word "we" very strategically. We spent a lot of time. This is what people often do in meetings. They use "we" to make their contribution sound bigger than it actually is.
Yes, and notice that I did not interrupt him. I let him finish, and then I used the phrase, "to build on your points."
This is a great phrase because it does not sound like an attack. It sounds like you are collaborating. But immediately after that, you brought in concrete facts, since I spent the last week setting up the core layout.
Exactly. You defeat general statements with specific details. And notice what happened when David tried to minimize my work by saying I only helped with some parts?
You did not get defensive. You simply used another great phrase to clarify who is driving this project.
Yes. In professional environments, we do not argue about who owns the idea. We focus on who is driving the execution. The person driving the execution is the one who has the data. That is why I immediately offered to share my screen to show the actual test results. That is a great way to handle it. When you have the facts, it is much easier to get everyone on the same page. Now, let's do our quick practice challenge. I want you to try this.
Imagine you are in a team meeting. A colleague says, "We completed the report yesterday," but you were the one who wrote the whole draft. Instead of saying, "No, I wrote it," how can you use "to build on" to take back your credit? You have 3 seconds to try. Great try. You could say, to build on that point, I would like to share the key details since I finalized the full draft yesterday. Hear the difference? It is polite, but you clearly show you did the work.
That is a great response. Now, having everyone know you do the work is great. But what if you have so much work to do and your calendar is full of meetings where you just sit and listen?
Oh, the long, quiet meetings that have nothing to do with your daily tasks. If you just say, I am too busy to join, you might look like you are not a team player.
Let's look at how we can decline these low-value meetings to save your work hours while keeping your team happy.
We have all experienced this. Your calendar is packed with invitations, and you realize you were spending half of your day in meetings where you just sit and listen without contributing anything.
Exactly. And when you want to decline, your first reaction might be to say, I am too busy with my daily tasks. But that is a major misstep. It makes it sound like you cannot manage your workload, or worse, that you do not care about the team's updates.
Right. Instead of focusing on your busy schedule, you need to focus on how your time can best serve the team. Let's listen to how this professional discussion goes when a team member is invited to a long general update meeting.
Hi, Thomas. I just sent out the calendar invite for our weekly 2-hour project sync on Thursday afternoon. Please make sure you join because we have a lot of updates to go over.
Thanks for the invite, Anna. Thursday afternoon is when I finalize our weekly reporting. To make sure my presence adds the most value, could you share which specific agenda item requires my direct input?
Well, we are going to talk about the general progress of all departments. It is good for everyone to be aligned.
I completely understand the importance of staying aligned. However, to ensure I protect my deliverables for our main project, would it be possible for me to review the meeting minutes instead? Or I can just step in for the first 10 minutes to cover my specific update.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense, Thomas. We only need your update on the reporting. Let's do that. You can join for the first 10 minutes, and then you are free to drop off.
Thanks, Anna. I will make sure my update is ready and jump on the call right at the start.
That was a very clean and polite negotiation. The invite was declined, but nobody felt rejected.
Yes, the key here was not complaining about a heavy workload. Instead, it started with a very polite question. To make sure my presence adds the most value, could you share which specific agenda item requires my direct input?
To make sure my presence adds the most value is an incredibly smart phrase. It completely changes the dynamic. It shows you want to be useful, not that you are trying to avoid work. It gently forces the other person to justify why you need to sit there for 2 hours.
Yes, and when explaining the reason, the response did not use I have too much work. It used to ensure I protect my deliverables.
Deliverables is a great, clean, professional word. It simply means the actual results you are responsible for. By using to ensure I protect my deliverables, you show that your priority is high-quality results for the company.
Exactly. And notice that the answer was not just a flat no. It offered 2 clear, helpful alternatives, reviewing the meeting minutes or stepping in for just the first 10 minutes. Yes, meeting minutes is a standard business term for the official written record of a meeting. And by offering these options, you use a key negotiation strategy. You do not act as a blocker. Instead, you act as a problem solver who offers structured solutions. Managers love choices.
Now, let's put this into practice. It is your turn for our quick response challenge.
Imagine your colleague invites you to a brainstorming session that is not related to your current project. You want to decline politely to focus on your main task. Instead of saying, I am too busy with other work, how can you use to make sure my presence adds the most value to decline? You have 3 seconds to try.
Excellent effort. You could say, to make sure my presence adds the most value, could you share which part of the session requires my direct input? Otherwise, I can review the notes later.
Perfect. That keeps you looking like a collaborative team player while saving your valuable hours.
But protecting your time during work hours is only half the battle. What happens when the workday is over, but the messages keep coming?
The evening messages. When you see your manager's name pop up on your screen at 9 p.m., your heart sinks. If you reply immediately, you teach them that you are always available. But if you ignore it, you worry they might think you do not care.
Let's look at how we can establish clear lines for your weekend and evening hours politely, without looking like you are offline.
That transition from office hours to personal time is where so many of us get stuck. You are finally sitting down for dinner, or maybe you were out with your family on a Saturday afternoon, and your phone buzzes. It is a message from your manager about a new task.
That immediate feeling of worry is so real. You feel this pressure to reply right away because you want to show you are dedicated. But the moment you answer a non-urgent message at 10 p.m., you are teaching your team that you are available 24/7.
Spot on. And on the other hand, if you completely ignore it until Monday morning without saying anything, some managers might feel you are not reliable during busy times. We need a way to show we are responsible while keeping our personal hours clear.
I will play Thomas, the manager who is working late and sending messages on a Saturday. Anna will play herself, managing her weekend communication. Here is how they handle the boundary.
Hi, Anna. Sorry to message you on a Saturday. I was just reviewing the client feedback for next week's presentation. We need to completely rewrite the second section before the meeting. Can you look at this and send me a draft when you can?
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for sharing this update. I have noted this down and will make it my top priority first thing Monday morning when the team is back. I will have the updated draft ready for your review by 10 a.m. Monday.
Oh, okay. I was hoping we could get a head start on this over the weekend so we do not have to rush on Monday morning. It is a pretty big change.
I understand we want to avoid a rush on Monday. To make sure we deliver the best quality, I will align with our design lead as soon as we log in on Monday to handle this immediately. I want to ensure we have everyone's full attention on it.
Fair point, Anna. Monday morning works. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate your understanding. Have a great weekend, too.
Notice the strategy here. I did not ignore Thomas, but I also did not open my laptop on a Saturday afternoon to start working.
You handled that beautifully, Anna. Your reply was incredibly polite, but you drew a very clear line. The first step was acknowledging the message with, "I have noted this down."
That is a simple but powerful phrase. It tells the manager that you have received the information so they do not have to worry about whether you saw it or not. But immediately after that, you set the timeline and will make it my top priority first thing Monday morning.
You hit the nail on the head. And by stating a specific time, by 10 a.m. Monday, you gave me peace of mind. As a manager, I often send messages on weekends simply because I want to get the thought out of my head, not because I expect you to work right that second. Knowing you have a clear plan for Monday morning is all I really need.
That is a vital point for everyone to understand. Managers are often just clearing their own to-do lists. And when you pushed back slightly, I used another useful phrase. To make sure we deliver the best quality, I will align with our team as soon as we log in on Monday.
As soon as we log in is such a clean, professional way to say during normal working hours. It sounds much more cooperative than saying, "I am not working on weekends."
Plus, mentioning quality is always a winning strategy. No manager wants to argue for lower quality work just to get it done a few hours earlier on a Sunday. Now, instead of our usual practice, let's do a quick tone makeover. I want you to listen to 2 different ways of saying the exact same thing on a Friday evening and feel the difference.
Here is version A, which is what most people say when they are stressed. "I cannot look at this right now because my weekend has started. I will do it on Monday."
That feels a bit defensive, and it focuses entirely on your personal boundaries instead of the work. Now, listen to version B. "Thanks for the update. I have noted this down and will make it my top priority first thing Monday morning."
See what happened there? Both versions say the exact same thing. I am not working on this until Monday. But version B makes you look incredibly organized, proactive, and completely in control of your time. Well, version A makes you look like you are avoiding the team.
It is all about the positioning. Setting these clear lines for your personal time helps you show up on Monday with a fresh mind. But what happens when you show up on Monday and during your performance review, your manager shares some feedback that feels completely unfair?
Oh, that is a tough one. When you feel you have worked so hard, but the feedback does not match your efforts, it is very easy to feel defensive.
Next, we will look at how we can navigate that discussion and negotiate a fairer review using facts and data rather than getting upset.
Receiving feedback that does not align with your actual efforts is one of the quickest ways to feel demotivated. Your first instinct might be to protect yourself, to argue, or to point out how hard you have been working.
Yes, that natural reaction is so common. But the moment you show frustration or start listing excuses, the conversation stops being about your performance and becomes about your attitude. You want to steer the focus back to objective facts.
Spot on. The goal is to turn a subjective opinion into a discussion based on real results. Let's listen to this session where the manager has a slightly critical view and the team member gently drives the conversation back to a fair space.
So, Anna, I reviewed your work on the client launch. Overall, you were organized, but I felt you were a bit passive during our weekly debates. I would like to see you take more of a lead role in team discussions.
Thanks for sharing that observation, Thomas. I appreciate you taking the time to help me improve. To make sure I fully understand, could you share a specific instance where you felt my input fell short?
Well, during last Wednesday's meeting, you did not say much while the others were arguing about the budget split.
Ah, I see. In that specific session, my focus was on collecting the data because we had several conflicting opinions on the numbers. I wanted to make sure we had the correct figures before making a decision. Moving forward, I will make it a point to share my analysis earlier in the discussion.
That makes sense, Anna. I did not realize you were gathering that data in real time. I appreciate that approach.
That felt so much better than getting into a heated argument.
You hit the nail on the head, Anna. It was extremely calm. Most people, when told they are passive, would immediately say, "But I was busy working." Instead, you asked a very professional question. Could you share a specific instance where you felt my input fell short?
That is the golden rule when dealing with general feedback. When someone gives you a subjective label like passive or quiet, you politely ask for a specific example. It helps you understand their point, but it also forces them to think about whether their feedback is based on facts or just a passing feeling.
And when the manager gave you the example of Wednesday's meeting, you did not apologize. You simply explained your strategy. My focus was on collecting the data.
Right. And then you showed that you were proactive by using the phrase, "I will make it a point to share my analysis earlier."
I will make it a point to is a fantastic phrase. It sounds much stronger than I will try to. It shows you are making a conscious decision to take action.
To help you handle this kind of conversation, let's look at a technique we call the power word transition.
When a manager gives you unfair feedback, there are two danger words that most people use immediately: but and just. For example, "But I was just doing my job."
Those words sound defensive. They minimize your own value. Instead, we want to shift it to power words: focus and strategy. Look at how the entire tone shifts when you use them. My focus during that meeting was on gathering data, and my strategy was to ensure we had the correct numbers before deciding. This shift is incredibly powerful. It changes the perception of you from a passive listener to a strategic thinker who has a clear plan for their actions.
That is a massive upgrade in how you present yourself. Having a constructive talk about your performance can actually open doors to new opportunities. But what if the review goes well? You know you deserve a reward, but the company is facing a sudden budget freeze.
That is a real roadblock. Asking for a salary raise when the budget is tight is almost impossible. But you do not have to leave empty-handed.
Exactly. there are other highly valuable ways to negotiate your rewards. Next, we will look at how to ask for other benefits that can boost your long-term career, even when the company can't offer more money right now.
It is a tough position to be in. You have met all your targets, your manager agrees you did an outstanding job, but then you hear those dreaded words, "We have a salary freeze this year."
When that happens, many people just accept the news with a sad nod and wait for the next year, or they start looking for another job immediately. But a salary freeze does not mean you cannot negotiate other things that are highly valuable for your life and career.
You hit the nail on the head. If the company cannot give you more money directly from their salary budget, they might have other pockets of funds available, like training allowances or flexible working setups. Let's listen to how this professional alternative negotiation plays out.
Anna, you did a wonderful job with the project launch. I really wanted to support your promotion and raise this cycle, but the executive board just announced a complete freeze on all salary increases for the next 6 months. I am really sorry about this.
I understand, Thomas. I know the company is managing its expenses carefully right now. Since a salary adjustment is not possible at the moment, would we be able to look at other ways to support my development?
I am definitely open to that. What do you have in mind?
I would like to request that the company cover the fees for the Advanced Project Coordination course next month. Additionally, could we agree on a schedule of 2 remote working days per week so I can save on travel time?
The training budget is managed separately, and we do have some room there. As for the remote days, as long as your tasks are delivered on time, I can approve that. Let's make that happen.
Thank you, Thomas. That support means a lot to me and helps me continue to deliver my best work.
Notice how we did not let the conversation end with a no.
That was a masterclass in staying positive. When the manager shared the bad news about the freeze, the response did not show frustration. Instead, it used a very mature phrase. I know the company is managing its expenses carefully right now.
Showing that you understand the business reality makes the manager feel you are on their side. Once they see you are being reasonable, they are much more willing to find alternatives. And then the key transition was, since a salary adjustment is not possible at the moment, would we be able to look at other ways to support my development?
Other ways to support my development is a beautiful phrase. It is clean, non-threatening, and highly professional. It shifts the entire focus from I want money to I want to grow with the company.
You hit the mark. And the requests were highly specific. The fees for a training course and 2 remote working days. These are things that do not impact the core wage budget, but they bring huge value to your professional growth and daily work-life balance.
To wrap up our discussion today, let's look at the win-win blueprint. This is a simple framework for negotiating when money is off the table. Remember, companies have different budgets managed by different rules. When the salary budget is frozen, the training and development budget is often still open.
That is right. Asking for the company to pay for an industry certification or a professional course is often much easier for a manager to approve. It costs them less, it is tax deductible for the business, and it directly upgrades your resume.
And don't forget time flexibility. Asking for remote workdays or flexible hours costs the company $0, but it saves you hours of commuting, fuel costs, and gives you back your energy.
So the next time you face a no on your salary, do not walk away empty-handed. Use the win-win blueprint to trade for growth, flexibility, and skills.
Because professional growth is the best long-term investment you can make for your career.
And as you try out these phrases, remember that every workplace has its own unique rhythm, and every manager has their own style.
Absolutely. These tools are here to give you a strong, confident starting point. But the real magic happens when you adapt them to fit your own situation, your team, and your personal voice.
Yes, the secret to mastering business English isn't memorizing script after script. It's about listening to these scenarios again, practicing them aloud, and slowly building that natural, consistent habit.
Step by step, that practice builds the confidence you need to handle any tough workplace conversation with ease, naturally opening up new opportunities for your career growth.
We would love to hear from you. Which of these 5 situations felt the most familiar to you? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you found this session helpful, please give us a like, subscribe, and share it with a colleague who might need it.
Keep practicing, stay professional, and we will see you in our next session. Bye, everyone!